Hey, what's up, guys? Mike Patrick. In this video, I want to talk about smoking, guys. Now, it's been a long one coming, a long time coming, I guess you could say. But smoking, guys, smoking. I used to smoke. I'm not even necessarily talking about marijuana. Well, I think there's better ways you can take marijuana in other than smoking because, you know, there's chemical reactions that happen with everything. So, while I don't think necessarily that marijuana is a bad thing. Um, it's more so about like, okay, once you burn it, okay, what's the side of like, like what chemical reaction is happening that may not be so beneficial. So it might have, for example, we know they real big now on CBD and things like that. So while it may still have certain chemicals in it that's beneficial, um, it may have things in it now. Once you done burnt it, right? It may have different carcinogens or antioxidant or oxidants, not antioxidants, but oxidants. Okay. All right. So the thing is, like, with smoking, what? Okay. So what things they found, and then I'm gonna get into some things that intuitively I just recognize. Okay. So guys, when you smoke, okay, the byproduct of that smoke, it it destroys your cilia in your lungs, okay? And what your cilia is like hair-like follicles that help trap debris and different toxins, and it moves it out your airway so you can be able to breathe effectively. All right? And it's a um it's a defense system against affections, okay? When it comes to your lungs, okay? So like when you're dealing with like probably even like colds, anything that is respiratory related, okay? You know, but the thing is like when you smoke, you are like willingly, you know what I'm saying? Like screwing your respiratory, if that makes sense. Especially if you smoking things like cigarettes, Black and Miles, these different cigars that just got all types of like retarded chemicals in them, and it's just not good for you. Okay, see, it's different like when some of the ancestors were smoking things like the peace pipe, where it might just been straight up tobacco. Whatever reasons uh, that different chemicals are put into cigarettes and things like that, I don't know. But all I do know is um, I can tell something is wrong with it, okay? And it's bad. I can't tolerate, like, I can't even think. Like, it's crazy. When I was young, right, I could be in a house. I could be in a house. I could be in a car and things like that, and be around the smoke and not really think much of it. I would smell it, but it's like I wouldn't think much of it. And now, when I didn't clean like my body and things up like that, I can't tolerate that. I can't tolerate it. And then the thing I'm thinking is like, dang, a baby being exposed to this. Nobody's telling the baby how bad the cigarette smoke is for them secondhand, or how bad the Black and Mild smoke is for them secondhand, or whatever, right? But so and so they live. But when you get healthy and then you come back around that, it's a whole different perception, if that makes sense. And that correlates, and uh that probably hits home for a lot of people on different levels. Okay, you didn't realize what you was in till you was out of it, and then you look back at it and you be like, oh no, I can't go back to that, right? um so okay, now with that said, smoking destroys, now from a more scientific standpoint, so it just won't seem like I'm just running my mouth, right? A more scientific standpoint, cilia, guys, okay? This is like little hairs on your lungs, okay? And they're responsible for uh, trapping like debris, toxins, and things of that nature, okay? And it's gonna help, fight infection, because if you get depending on what type of bacteria well, what type of bacteria, viruses, I believe, start within the body, and if something has to trigger a virus for it to manifest and come through to harm someone, but a bacteria can be introduced. And how I think stuff like that, from this standpoint, like talking about what I'm talking about now, is, let's say you're smoking so much, guys, it damages the hair follicles that are supposed to be protecting your lungs, okay? And over a certain amount of time, you don't have that protection, okay? And then therefore, whatever carcinogens, whatever toxins that whatever you smoking provides, you become more and more susceptible to it invading your body and your cells, okay? And like I said, the cilia is supposed to trap follicles, and well, it's hair follicles that's supposed to trap the debris and the toxins, and it's supposed to be a defense mechanism for your lungs, okay? And basically, what it does is, uh, if you don't have those hairs, if you don't have your defense, like anything else, if you don't have your defense, then you can't defend yourself from certain things, and then next thing you know, you end up with cancer. Next thing you know, you end up with respiratory issues, okay? It's one thing for your body to come across something in a certain degree for a certain amount of time. I mean, yeah, to a certain degree, in a certain amount of time, and that's why you have a defense mechanism. That's why you have an immune system. That's why you have those hairs. You know, it's kind of like saying the Most High understand, bro. You ain't gonna be able to walk through the street and be able to, um, you know, be able to make somebody stop smoking, make a truck stop running, and then putting out, whatever chemicals the truck put out, things like that. So it's a balance where you got them hairs in there to trap that, because hopefully you ain't overexposed, and so therefore you can trap all that. And then, you know and if your body is in balance and in homeostasis, and you're doing other things right, you can get that out your bloodstream, okay? Because that's something that you don't have control over. That's something you don't have control over. So, but if you actively like smoking, cigarettes and things like that, and I know it's a hard thing. I know before this information comes out, like on a level that's probably coming out now, I know certain people that already got hooked into the game. So it's not a thing where I'm trying to downplay nothing or downplay anybody, or like you a horrible person. I'm like, I tried smoking cigarettes before I was young. And it's crazy because before I even knew anything, that's one thing I never that's one thing I never could get hooked to. Like, I smoke a cigarette. It was something about it that knew. Like, I might have tried a cigarette like 2 or 3 times my whole life. It was somebody that knew. Now I smoked black and miles actively. I smoked marijuana actively, meaning, when I say actively, meaning I did it more than just like in a state of, oh, I tried it. You know what I'm saying? But it was something about cigarettes that, like, the few times I tried cigarettes, it was like that shit. Or excuse my French, that it's like, ugh. Like, nah, something else about this, right? So the thing about it is, like, even with tobacco is a natural weed. But by the time you then pulled it, processed it, put all different types of chemicals in it, then what is it now? You know. Um, I'm gonna just end it there, guys. Hopefully this was a helpful video. Peace.